we're having a problem, but we've got a core group at the support group. We've just lost 2 members that we've asked to leave. But the rest of us are committed to this, and we've brought in some more people on, and we're actually really excited. So, we made a decision, I think it was back in July, as a support group, we wanted to hold more hearings. Actually, we feel that people need to be told the truth. Here we're an inquiry where we're trying to shed light into the darkness, literally, and bring truth to things. And, here we found ourselves, we don't want to have to go public. We don't want to say there's a rift. Honestly, it was only when the messaging was getting so out of hand, and there's, one kind of situation I'm not even at liberty to talk with, but my gosh, if the commissioners had gotten linked to it, it could be the end. So we felt compelled to go public, and I'll go into the details. But one thing I've learned that I want to talk about after I go through the details is I think the way we're responding to this, we need to examine. So, a lot of people are telling us, you should just literally hold hands and sing Kumbaya and all get along. And I know none of us like conflict, and I know we're supposed to, love each other and get along. But if somebody's acting in a way that is inappropriate and making representations that aren't correct and are actually doing things that are going to be very harmful to people, are we supposed to hold their hands and sing Kumbaya? You see, I would say that's part of our problem as a culture, is that we no longer hold people to account for their actions. And
if I could just interrupt you for 1 second, Shawn, I want to make a point of letting the viewers know right now, because I get so many messages every single day from people who say, what can I do? I'm only one person. I suppose I could call my MLA, I could call my MP, I could call my school trustee. And did you hear what Shawn just said, everybody? 11 people, a group of 11 people got together, and they started something miraculous like the National Citizens Inquiry. So you can do this. You can't do it alone, but it doesn't take an army. You'll get the army along the way, but you can do it. You can start small. Everything starts small. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Anyway, I'm sorry, Shawn, to interrupt.
No, because you're hitting on something that people have to hear, because Shadoe, people have become to feel helpless, and they don't understand how powerful they are. Now, really, if you said to yourself, we're in a spiritual war, it's manifesting as an information war, and I have to be involved. And let me tell you, you have to be involved. You have no choice. Have you heard Arthur Plesky's stream, Shadoe?
No, I have not, please.
Okay, well, I can't resist in a second, but I'm just saying you have no choice anymore, because you're going to be held accountable for not being a soldier in this war, because we're all being called to do that, and it's your full-time job. And what Arthur sees is he sees a fence that goes into the horizon as far as the eye can see, and he knows the fence represents the world. And on top of the fence, everyone in the world is sitting on top of the fence. And then God's hands kind of come down and grab the fence and start shaking. He's shaking that fence, and he's really shaking it. I mean, he's violently shaking the fence, and everyone's just hanging on, and they have to choose. And by the end of the shaking, there's not a single person left on the fence. And the understanding is that people are going to be revealed for who they are. They're going to have to choose what side they're on, and we're going to see it. And I think actually, Shadoe, and I mean, the reason why you have shows, the reason why the NCI calls witnesses is so that people can see truth, so that then we can decide what we're going to do with truth. It's a revealing. Like, what if we have a public official and it's revealed they're lying, and it's revealed they're corrupt, or it's revealed that they're not acting in the public interest? Are we supposed to hold their hands and sing Kumbaya? Are we supposed to kick them out?
throw them in jail. Maybe would be
Well,
better. And
you know,
there's a lot of people, Shawn, who want retribution. They want to see the perp walk for Justin Trudeau, and I know that that's not going to happen one day. But getting back to the fence for a second, I find that interesting because the people who are not deciding, or they're trying so hard to sit on that fence, God's going to shake them off one way or the other, right? And
we all feel it.
somebody else is going to make up their mind for them. Somebody asked me the other day, Jamie Soleil, I was on her show, and she asked me, could you ever not do what you're doing? And I said, no, I couldn't sleep at night. This is the reason I do this is because I'm trying to reveal things, just like you say. I want the truth out there. I want the people who are supposed to be accountable to be accountable. The elected people, the appointed people. It doesn't matter to me. They've been put into a job where they're accountable to the public, and they're not doing so. And so with every word we utter, with every action we take, we want to get that truth out there for people to understand and absorb that truth. And then it's up to them what they want to do with it. But this is what our job is, as you say.
My wife was really upset the other day and wondering if she could go on. And I asked her, I said, can you quit? And she thought about it. Like, she took her time, and she's, and basically it's like she couldn't live with herself until the NCI is safe. Like, for her, she feels her role is to keep it safe until, it's in safe hands and others can push forward with the commissioner report and further healing or hearings rather. But, it's not a Freudian slip to say healing, because the hearings are for whatever reason.
One and the same. Yep.
So
absolutely.
yeah, I think some truth slipped out. So they actually drafted this and brought it back to us as a proposal accurately. And it reads, the not-for-profit would strictly act as a legal organ for the inquiry and shall not be used as a decision-making mechanism. The support committee shall retain authority over all administrative, logistical, and financial matters, instructing the not-for-profits board to action as needed, example, releasing funds. A little later on in that document, under the heading Directors and Formal Rules, it reads, per Section A above, I've just read from Section A, the not-for-profit merely acts as a necessary legal organ and has no formal authority to make administrative, logistical, or financial decisions on the inquiry's behalf. We go 15 months without you appointing a single person as a member. After we have this management split where all of a sudden you're saying, no, the directors have control and you don't, but you're all members and we have to have a general meeting and there's more of you than us. They appoint 6 people after we have they're going to vote against us. Like, help me out here.
Yeah.
So would you call that fair play, Shadoe?
Of course not. That's absolutely ridiculous. But what I'm trying to understand here is, what are they doing?
This really precious thing occurred because of those 11 people, but something's gone off the rails. And I mean, I just beg them, like, back off, give us our social media accounts. You can go and push the commissioner. We want groups to form to push the commissioner's report. That's great. You can't have the name National Citizens Inquiry. It doesn't belong to you. Like just stop. That's all we want. Just give us our accounts back. Do what you want to do, but don't sabotage and don't pretend to be us. Like, it's just, how do you get there where you're actually taking social media channels you never have managed?
Wow.
And you're pretending to be the NCI after you were voted off of the board.
Now, some of these people who are subverting the actual cause here are some pretty high-level people.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And
with lots of resources. And then to be publicly messaging, let's solve this at an annual general meeting. Again, aside from the fact, wait a second, then we all have to buy into the lie, problem one. But you've just stacked the membership with people that are going to vote for you.
And they've taken your money too. Like, so
Oh yeah,
now,
well they haven't taken my money, and we were told, and again we haven't ever had an accounting, but we were told that it was tons and tons and tons of small donations. Like it literally was just average Canadians supporting this as best they could. But let's talk about this pressure on us to hold hands and all get along. Well, wait a second. Do you know what? There are people that don't have the best interests of freedom groups in mind. And there are people that will put other interests, like political interests, above those of a freedom group. And in every group of people, there are ones that are honest and there are ones that are dishonest. And when you discover ones that are dishonest, you do not partner with them any longer, and you do not hold their hand and do not sing kumbaya. So this attitude that there's a problem if you have a problem, well then any group that's long-standing is going to have a problem. Maybe God's cleaning house. Maybe the group's cleaning house. Maybe we're in a revelation. Like, what are we going to do when it becomes clear that our public officials and other people in authority have not been honest with us and have not acted in our best interest and perhaps have had other motives? Are we not going to hold them to account? Because if we don't, then we will never have an honest society. Like the only way politicians should be afraid of their citizens. And, anyone on the board of the College of Physicians and Surgeons, and like people in authority should be afraid of the citizens because the citizens are holding them to account, but they're not afraid. And right. I think this is an opportunity for us to just rethink that, we have to understand that we're in a war and there's going to be conflict. And there's going to be just honest disagreements. That's okay. And, sometimes
this subversion. No, yeah, but the subversion, that's a betrayal.
Well, this isn't a philosophical disagreement as they're spinning. And I'm sorry, you're telling the world, let's settle it at a board meeting, and you're stacking the board?
Yeah.
We are. We actually put out a notice earlier this week. So, Shadoe, we are going to hold hearings in spring, likely in Regina, but don't hold me to that. And then we're going to hold hearings in summer, and then we're going to hold a set of hearings in fall. But we're going to actually be putting out a survey asking people, what do you want to have us hold hearings in? And we're going to structure, we're hoping like a year from now, we'll actually be holding hearings on different things at the same time. Like maybe not, obviously not the same days. We'll try but maybe have a couple of sets of commissioners in parallel hearings. Like we want to become a truly independent, citizen-run inquiry that will look into everything that is of concern to the citizens. So, not to grind an axe, to hear all sides, but just to get to the bottom so that people can make a decision based on what people say under oath.
Shawn, thank you for taking the time to come on with us tonight and telling us all of this stuff. People are rightly outraged. I'm sure you may read the comments later on this.
But we need to rein that in too. You don't honor people that you shouldn't. And clearly we want to get our social media channels and go forward. But I would say it's a beautiful thing if they truly did want to push the commissioner's report, and anyone else that wants to organize groups to do that, that's a wonderful thing. And again, all 11 were needed to get us here. So I'm really grieved and unhappy, but we have to hold people to account, absolutely, but we don't get angry about it.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on tonight. And if there's anything we can ever do for you again, just let me know and we'll be there.
Shadoe, thank you for having me on your show. I so respect what you do. And, I don't think people understand how much you work and just the commitment. So thank you for what you do, because if it wasn't for people like you, none of us would know what's going on.
Thank you, Shawn. Talk to you again soon.